Fundamentally, there's this underlying societal expectation that a parade is a safe zone.
Right.
It's basically the pinnacle of public celebration. You go there specifically to just let your guard down.
You do.
Well,
But what happens when you take that exact same scene, the brightly colored floats, the swelling music, the dense, shivering crowds,
yeah.
and you force yourself to look at it exclusively through the crosshairs of a sniper rifle? Specifically, Chapter 14, Part 2 of the story, The Wraith.
Right.
And we were going to read through it, dissecting every tactical decision, every physiological reaction, and every agonizing twist right as it happens. The man who loves her is on a freezing rooftop trying to protect her, and a master assassin is somewhere in the city actively hunting her.
Okay, let's get right into the text.
Okay, let's unpack this. I'll start reading. Quote, Christmas parade. Rachel had insisted she needed proper rest before Baxter's holiday parade.
Right, which makes sense for a singer.
As much as she loved sharing a bed with Finn, something they had done every night since they'd gotten back together, sometimes he was too tempting, too distracting, and her will too weak around him to allow for anything resembling sleep.
I mean, understandable.
Totally.
Yeah.
Sadly tonight, her career had to come first. She had to be at the staging area near Baxter's flagship department store before sunrise, so she tucked herself into her own bed alone and was out cold before 9 p.m.
Let me pick up the next part from Finn's perspective.
Go for it.
Quote, the separation plan sucked, but it played straight into Finn's tactical advantage. A televised parade, a psycho girl with a vendetta, and a sniper still at large.
It's such a stressful list.
Right. Every bit of it made his skin crawl and his trigger finger itch. There was only one way he'd feel remotely better. He needed to secure the parade route himself.
At a minimum, the performance zone had to be fully reconned. Rachel and her sweet charity castmates would be stationed on a makeshift stage at street level at a fixed point in front of the store.
So she's not marching, she's stationary.
Exactly. They had 3 separate performances scheduled, sprinkled throughout the duration of the parade. One right after the opening ceremony, one toward the middle, and one right before Santa made his appearance.
Okay, my turn. On one hand, Finn was relieved she'd be in a confined location the entire time, less ground to cover, fewer variables. On the other, it chilled him to the bone.
Here it comes.
The spot was a sniper's paradise, like shooting fish in a barrel from the right roost.
Wow.
So Finn spent his evening with Puck and Mike, setting up hidden cameras, identifying the optimal vantage points, sweeping them clean, and ensuring they stayed that way.
And Tana's doing her own thing, right?
Yeah, quote, Tana, who'd worked late on her own PI case the night before, insisted she needed at least a couple hours sleep to recharge, said she'd join them by 3 a.m.
Let's read Finn's assessment of Will Schuester.
Go ahead.
Quote, even with a designated performance zone, there was still plenty of ground to cover. A sniper could be holed up blocks away with the right talent and sight lines. An exceptional sniper could be up to a mile away.
Right, the distance factor.
Schuster's range and skill set was the wild card here. Finn could easily make a shot from more than a half a mile out. And while Will was a known hand-to-hand combat expert, clearly he had some hidden marksman talents too. The hit on Brody was proof enough of that.
So they know he's dangerous. Let me read the next part. His failed attempt on both Finn and Rachel that first night, however, also told the story. Could have been nerves, could have been distractions.
Or something else entirely.
Right. If you're not super dialed into your own heartbeat, it can be hard to block out the city sounds or your own conscience. Practice and repetition certainly helps to keep that kind of surgical precision. But who knew what Schu's real training looked like? Either way, it was clear that under the right conditions, his skills were lethal.
Thankfully, this dense urban tangle of buildings, billboards, and other obstructions wouldn't allow for that much distance. Finn was betting his marksman talent wasn't that impressive either, so he'd want the sure bet location. In other words, he'd have to be close, but concealed.
I love the tactical logic here, I really do. Finn is using deductive reasoning to shrink his search grid.
By looking at the previous miss.
Exactly. He knows Will missed a shot previously.
Okay, so you mentioned being dialed into your own heartbeat, and the text brings that up too.
Yeah.
I've read that elite marksmen actually time their trigger pulls to fire, like between their own heartbeats. Is that a real thing, or is that just Hollywood myth?
Oh, no, it is absolutely real, and it's a core component of extreme long-range ballistics.
Really?
Yeah.
Just the heartbeat throws it off?
Definitely. When you're looking through a high-powered scope at a target, say, half a mile away, the simple act of your heart pumping blood through your chest cavity creates enough kinetic movement to shift the crosshairs by several feet downrange.
That is insane.
You have to artificially lower your heart rate, control your breathing, and actually squeeze the trigger in the millisecond pause between the diastolic and systolic phases of your cardiac cycle.
Wow.
Finn knows Schuster doesn't have that zen-like mastery, so physics basically dictates that Schuster must get closer.
Let's see how Finn prepares for that proximity.
Okay, reading again. Quote, thanks to parade flyers made for the public complete with a neatly printed map and performing schedule, it was painfully obvious where Rachel's theater group would be and when.
This next line is great.
Practically a takeout menu for terrorists.
So good.
Finn had to assume the man would seen that info ahead of time and planned his nest accordingly.
Let me keep going. He walked around the sidewalk and into the street in front of Baxter's. Smoke burned half down in his cold fingers, eyes fixed on the surrounding vista.
Setting the scene.
Plenty of nooks and crannies to choose from. Finn easily picked out 3 spots he himself would use and sent Mike and Puck to check them and set motion cameras.
Mike's on the tech, right?
Yeah. Mike would be watching on monitors from their unmarked van parked a block and a half away from the store and outside the parade loop. The motion sensors, once tripped, would send video feeds straight to him, and then it'd be game over for any tangos trying to plot a live on-air assassination. Let's shift our focus to Rachel's morning.
Oh, this part is so tense.
Right. Quote, while Finn and his brothers patrolled all night, Rachel woke at 4:17 a.m. to ready herself for the excitement of the day.
So early.
True to her regimen, she remained mute, but she realized immediately the slight tightness she awoke to in her throat needed attention. She headed into a steaming hot shower and avoided any humming or singing.
Let me read the next bit. Once out of the shower, she wrapped her neck in a scarf and headed to the kitchen in search of sustenance. Even though San had joined the guys in their overnight recon activities, she'd still left a buffet selection of bagels, muffins, and tea in the kitchen, ready for Rachel to have a quick breakfast, along with a break-a-leg note.
Santana is secretly the sweetest.
She really is. Rachel sipped her hot tea and stayed in pre-show silent mode. She texted an I love you/miss you message to Finn, who replied with the same sentiment and reminded her that Mike would be arriving shortly to serve as her personal chauffeur that morning.
Okay. It was all she could do to push aside thoughts about the reasons why Finn was out on a cold rooftop, instead of holding her hand and preparing to be wowed by her parade performance.
The denial is strong.
She knows there's a target on her back, but if she lets herself get bogged down in the minutiae of those murdery details, she'll lose her mind. And her nerve.
Understandable.
Today, she is about to make national headlines for being an incredible breakout talent of Broadway. That's the only prediction she can allow herself for now. 15 minutes later, she greeted Mike with a bright but silent smile and quick hug and departed him the same way when he dropped her at her allotted staging zone.
You know, that compartmentalization Rachel is doing is fascinating, but it makes me wonder, how long can the body physically sustain that level of psychological denial before it just breaks down?
Well, isn't it?
Exactly. I'm talking about the tightness in her throat. She wakes up at 4:17 a.m. and immediately feels a tightness.
Right, which she thinks is just the cold.
She attributes it to the cold or general vocal strain. But if we connect this to the bigger picture, we have to look at the immunology of stress. But Rachel isn't just dealing with stage fright here. She is actively ignoring the fact that a man with a high-powered rifle is currently hunting her.
Right. The text explicitly says she's pushing aside the, quote, murdery details, so she doesn't lose her mind. She is literally forcing her brain to focus on her Broadway breakout moment instead of her potential assassination.
Rachel's body is so overwhelmed by the subconscious terror of being hunted that her immune system has effectively crashed. That tightness in her throat isn't just a random winter cold. It is the physical manifestation of her psychological terror.
Let's look at the comms check.
I love the comms check.
It's so good. Quote, while opening ceremonies were just getting underway, 5 stories above 10th Avenue, Finn crouched behind a ventilation stack with binoculars pressed to his face.
Visualizing that is so cinematic.
Puck held the opposite rooftop, Bino scanning west over the river, then back up and down the entire parade route. Finn's voice whispered through the comms, low and professional. Rooftops clear. Windows clear. Nothing weird on cross streets. Puck.
Let me read Puck's response. Quote, copy. Just a whole lot of tourists in ugly sweaters, Puck muttered. Kind of want to shoot him.
Typical Puck.
Right. Finn stifled a chuckle, and Sam's voice crackled in from street level. Crowd's really filling in now. Santa's sled is in position, gingerbread dancers assembling, and some dad just spilled cocoa on my boot while his 3 little kids pointed and laughed. Good thing he got the robo-leg or else my toes would be cold and sticky. But hey, we're in the holiday spirit, boys.
And then Santana chimes in. Santana checked in, breathless, on foot, almost at the staging tents. I swear, if one more elf, sugar plum fairy, or reindeer dancer bumps me.
Amazing.
Finn smirked, despite himself. Eyes up, Lopez. Go for rooftops on your left.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing notable so far. Dios mio. I fucking hate parades. And mornings. Let's read the moment of impact.
This is where it gets crazy.
Quote, the parade was kicking off at 8 a.m., and Sweet Charity's cast was said to perform the first of their 3 slots right after. In his ear, Tana confirmed the performance was starting.
Finn swept his binoculars left, right, left, panned up and down, window to window. Old habits and soldier muscle memory ran deep. Something in his gut told him danger was near, but so far, nothing unusual alerted his scope eye on the first few passes.
But then, by the 4th pass, a reflection on the Baxter's large floor-to-ceiling-size windows caught his attention. A sudden flicker from a second-floor office window, just 2 floors beneath the building he stood atop.
Oh, man.
A dim flash. A tickle in the back of his mind told him he knew it was a muzzle firing, but he didn't want to believe it. He couldn't make anything out clear enough from his view of the warped, translucent, reflective surface of the windows opposite him, so he did the next best thing.
Puck, 2 floors down from me. Do you see anything?
Puck scanned and zoomed his focus where Finn had directed.
Do you see him?
The angle was bad. Glare from the stage lighting and filming equipment broke his view. He moved and refocused, but as he did, a commotion on the street level was stirring.
And here it is. Suddenly, Santana's voice hit the comms, sharp and half shrieking, Ay, Dios mio! Shot fired! Jesus, fuck! Rachel's down!
The visual mechanics of the scene are absolutely brilliant.